We got some good news and some bad news to get to for your Kansas City Chiefs here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. Before we tell you what is going on, folks, I got a challenge. Broncos Breakdown. They got a new host over there. His name is Trace Moustakis. Moose, they call him for short. Good guy. I've shared a beverage or two with him from time to time. But my friend is my enemy. And he has been picking up a hell ton of subscribers over there at Broncos Breakdown. And he was telling me, he's like, Tyler, no way you guys can hang with us and grow at the rate we're growing at right now. And I said, that won't be a problem. Chiefs Kingdom, you guys, you know what we're all about. You got to be subscribed to the channel. I need at least 50 subs off today's video. Moose doesn't think we can do it. Prove him wrong. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Chiefs TV, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with the good news, starting with offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. The good news on Matt Nagy is, according to Bleacher Report, he has been named to their list of most likely coordinators to get a head coaching job after this season. Let's listen in, and then I'll explain more why this is good news. Mo Motton writing this. As a potential retread, Nagy's resume is decent, considering the Bears went 12-4 in 2018, and Mitchell Trubisky was named the NFC Pro Bowl roster in his best years of pro under him. If Nagy sets himself up with a team that has a high-ceiling quarterback, he could be a successful head coach. This year, Nagy interviewed for the New York Jets head coaching job. His interview request list could be a lot longer in 2026. All right, here's why this is good news, folks. Matt Nagy, I think personally, has overstayed his welcome here in Kansas City. All right? If it were up to me, Matt Nagy would have been gone a long time ago. And here's what I mean by this, folks. Matt Nagy, he adds absolutely nothing to this offense. And since Matt Nagy's been offensive coordinator here in Kansas City, this offense has gotten significantly worse. And I understand Andy is the main play caller, but a lot of the game planning and the identity of what the Chiefs' offense is goes back to their offensive coordinator in Matt Nagy. And I think that this team can do a lot better with their offensive coordinator role with somebody else than they could with Matt Nagy. So if somebody out there wants to call up Matt Nagy and make him their next head coach, by all means, take him. He's yours. Get him the hell out of here. All right? I never thought I'd be missing Eric Bieniemy, but here we are. And Bieniemy kind of got exposed the last couple of years. I mean, Matt Nagy, if he wants to leave, I think that would be addition by subtraction for Kansas City, on all honesty. And if you need some numbers to back this up, what I'm talking about, let's take a look at last year's Chiefs offensive rankings. The Chiefs were 12th in the NFL in points per game at 23.1 points per game. That was not where they should have been. Numbers get a little worse, though. Yards per game, 19th in the NFL, 322 yards per game. Yards per play, 22nd, 5.1 yards per play last year. Red zone scoring touchdown percentage, 21st in the NFL, with having the most talented quarterback in the history of football, Patrick Mahomes. They could only score touchdowns in the red zone 54.5% of the time. And then touchdowns per game, they were 11th in the league at 2.6. So you're telling me that with all these weapons that Matt Nagy had to his disposal, he could not have a top 10 offense. This is not up to the Chiefs' standard. This is not what we expect. And Matt Nagy, I think, is the number one reason to blame. And here's the truth of the matter here, folks. Andy is a loyal guy. I love Andy Reid. Andy's done a phenomenal job. There's not a head coach I'd rather have in this league than Andy Reid. But because of Andy's loyalty, he is not going to fire Matt Nagy, no matter how bad things get. The only way that Matt Nagy's leaving town is by his own accord. And so if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, what you're hoping for is for some fool's gold of sorts, where the offense thrives this year in spite of Matt Nagy, and some other team sees this offense like, oh, Matt Nagy must be doing something right, and he goes and takes a head coaching job elsewhere. So that's the reality of it. I hope that the offense is good enough this year where they can win and put up a lot of points in spite of Matt Nagy holding this offense back. If he leaves, good riddance. Be honest with me. Our pen comment today. Is Matt Nagy bad at his job? Y for yes, in for no. I would love to have the type of job security Matt Nagy has, where I'm so bad at my job, but the results are still good enough because everybody else is carrying me, that I'm not on the hot seat by any stretch. Must be nice being Matt Nagy. Type Y for yes, in for no. Let me know if you think Matt Nagy is bad at his job or not. All right, let's talk the bad news of this. This same list named Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, as one of the most likely coordinators to get a head coaching job next year. Here's more from Mo Mott. In recent hiring cycles, older defensive-minded candidates haven't been in vogue. Yet league circles respect Steve Spagnuolo's resume enough to discuss vacancies with him. Early this year, he interviewed for openings with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Las Vegas Raiders, and New York Jets. Spagnuolo's defenses have played a significant role on championship teams with the Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs. In Kansas City, his defenses have ranked within the top 10 in scoring for 5 of the previous 6 seasons. If Spagnuolo pairs himself with an innovative offensive coordinator, he can lead the defense for a well-coached club. His choice in an offensive play caller could make or break his candidacy. Now, unlike Matt Nagy, this would be very sad if Steve Spagnuolo ended up leaving. It would be bad to lose Spags. But he deserves the opportunity. I know that his previous run as a head coach with the St. Louis Rams did not go well, but I think he's proven enough that he deserves the second chance to be a head coach again. Because when we talk about Spags now, he belongs among the all-time greats. Right up there with Dick LeBeau and Bill Belichick when you talk about some of the best defensive coordinators to ever coach this game. He's done that good of a job. And last year, the numbers were pretty solid with what this defense did. Opponents' points per game, 6th in the NFL, just 20.5 points per game. Opponents' yards per game, they were in the top 10, 328.2 yards allowed. Opponents' points per game, 6th in the league at .33. Opponents' fourth down conversion percentage rate, 51.61%. That was 9th best in the NFL. And opponents' touchdowns per game, 2.3, 8th best in the NFL. Here's the reality. Unlike Matt Nagy, Spags would not be easy to replace. Do I need to remind you by a guy by the name of Bob Sutton? Bob Sutton, who was the defensive coordinator before Spags. He was the bane to my existence. I cannot stand that man. I don't know where he is, and I still do not forgive him for costing Patrick Mahomes the Super Bowl in his first season as the Chiefs' full-time starting quarterback because of how bad that defense was. And then you look when they moved on from Bob, how dramatically the defense improved under Spags. Bob was awful. He was atrocious. All right? Great defensive coordinators don't just grow on trees. With that said, I don't blame Spags if he leaves. If he gets the opportunity to be a head coach again, by all means, he should chase that dream and get the chance to go win a Super Bowl with another organization. But with that said, we would certainly miss him and would hate to see him go. So, true or false? This will be Steve Spagnuolo's last season with the Chiefs. Type T for true, F for false. What do you think? Is this the last ride for Spags in Kansas City? Weigh in and let us know. Folks, got a great deal we're offering. Patrick Mahomes jerseys are on sale now with free shipping at chatsports.com/Mahomes. We got the home red, we got the white, we got several different options to choose from. Got some Super Bowl patches as well, men's and women's sizes available. Chatsports.com/Mahomes is where you can get yours. And we also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go check it out now. Chatsports.com/Mahomes to get yours today. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. It's chatsports.com/Mahomes. You guys know this. I don't have to tell you, but I'll say it anyway. Spags is way more valuable than Matt Nagy. It would be a much more detrimental loss. I think it would be a lot easier to replace Matt Nagy, especially since Matt Nagy's not the play caller of this offense. The good news is for Kansas City, whether they have to replace Matt Nagy or Steve Spagnuolo, people will be lining up to work with Andy. This will be, whether it's the OC job or the DC job, some of the most coveted positions you're going to find in the NFL if they had to open this search and replace one of those two individuals. I think replacing Spags would be much harder than replacing Matt Nagy, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't get a good array of candidate options potentially available. I would argue that being the offensive or defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs is a better job than some head coaching jobs in football. Go look at the New Orleans Saints. They just hired Kellen Moore. Don't you think Kellen Moore's probably regretting, man, wouldn't I have been better off just staying with the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, as their OC, rather than taking maybe the worst job in football right now? Yeah. What about Eric Bieniemy? He was so desperate to try his chance to be a head coach. And he goes off to Washington to be their play caller and OC to prove himself. And now Eric Bieniemy is off the face of the earth, basically. Bieniemy would have been much better off had he just been humble and stayed as the right-hand man to Andy Reid as his offensive coordinator rather than the way his career has gone at this point. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.